Where do you start if you want to change the world? Is it by seeing a nation become energy self-sufficient? Helping charities to be as productive as businesses? By using their talents to give them a livelihood. Big changes like these can start with something small, like asking better questions. So where do you start if you want to change the world? You start right here.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Chief channel. Joining you today is myself, your host, Aaron Lee, as well as a familiar face. But first of all, would like to apologize for the mix-up a little bit earlier on. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. As you know, it is a bit of a weather over here, so it might have affected our connection earlier on. So for those of you who have sticked around, we have something in store for you, as we have a familiar face, none other than Jeyaraman. Hello, Jaya. How's it going today?
And good, very good. Thanks, Aaron, for asking and for having me on the show as well. Good to see you, man.
Oh, good to see you
By the way,
too.
how everybody? Welcome to Big Chief
Oh,
channel.
welcome in, welcome in. I see a few familiar faces. Again, once again, we have Patricia, Christine, the usual gang. Oh, as well as Roxanne as well. Andrew Richard himself too. But today, I believe that Jaya, we have an interesting topic on hand, right? It's
Hmm.
quite
Yeah.
a big topic. It's most important skill. How can you say that one skill is more important than all the other skills?
I wonder if any of our guests now watching would like to guess what that skill could be. Let's give them a chance to figure out what it is.
Well, I hope that
I want this.
people can guess. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But no
Well,
right, no
okay.
wrong.
So if you
Any
are
of you
watching
guys would
us
like
right
to
now,
try and guess?
uh,
Mm-mm.
yeah, do let us know
What
what
do you
your
think
guesses are.
is one
What is?
one skill that can change our lives? I mean, it has changed my life. I used to
Mm-hmm,
be a very timid, shy, introverted, low confidence, low self esteem person. And
mm-hmm.
today, as you know, Aaron, I have been around, a few countries, speaking, sharing my knowledge, and you know, with so many people.
Of course,
So
of
what
course.
what changed? What is it that has helped me a lot? And I think it
Mm.
is not just for me. I think anybody needs this skill very badly. So I think by
Oh.
now, Aaron, you probably have already guessed. Oh, Silat. You're correct. Ah, correct. Absolutely. Anyone want to be
MMA,
funny? What is MMA?
the mixed martial arts.
Oh, yeah. Wow. This is like Bruce Lee already. Eh? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, actually. Well, you're quite
So
close, lah. It's
okay.
actually involving more than one person. It's actually communications, how we communicate, your interpersonal skills. I always
Mm.
say, that some people are very good at making friends, and some
Right.
people are very good at making enemies.
Mm.
Have you met people like this? Wherever they go, they easily can make enemies. And
Just like our
Zig
friend
Ziglar
in
in
the chat lah. Keep on being so aggressive with silat, MMA, taekwondo, making enemies number
oh,
one, right?
oh, yeah. Tell me about him. I know him just too well.
Sorry, back to you.
Yeah, I mean, Zig Ziglar in his book he wrote. I still remember reading this sentence. Some people brighten a room by coming into the room, and he says some people brighten a room by leaving the room. And I always share this. I say, I hope you are not in the second category because people in the second category have a hard time, right? And I don't know. Would you agree that communication skills is probably the most important skill any profession, wherever you are, whether you're a salesperson, you're a doctor, engineer, speaker, trainer, businessman, politician. We need to have communication
Of
skills, or
course,
even in the office when you're working in the office, you're a leader, you're people you manage, and
most
you often
definitely,
hear
yeah.
this that people don't leave companies because they don't like the job because they can't get along with their bosses or someone in the organization. Yes,
That's right,
because some
yeah.
people go because of greener pastures, but then again, a lot of people also leave for lack of communication, lack of um, interpersonal skills, not
Yeah.
getting along with somebody, right? So that's what I want
You
to touch
can't
on
get
today.
and you can't run away from it. It's everywhere. You can't
Absolutely,
live
yeah,
life without communicating, right?
true, yeah. Whether it's in your family, your friends, you name it, lah. It's
And
the
there's so
most important.
many forms of communication as well, right? Like, there's verbal and non-verbal body language, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we gonna get
Sometimes,
into the juicy parts?
actually, sometimes,
Hmm.
as you rightly said, Aaron, it's a great thing because communication is not very straightforward. Sometimes people could say something and mean something else.
That's right. Yeah.
The great communicators are the ones who are the empathetic listeners. They can listen to you, and understand your feelings.
Mm,
Sometimes I share this. I said you hear with your ears, but you listen with your heart.
right.
Because what I mean by that is words come to your ears. Those are just words. But what a person really means, you can feel it if you're
Mm,
perceptive enough. Because sometimes the trouble is in communication, it's not how well you talk, it's also how well we listen.
mm-hmm.
In fact, one day I was on a bus from Ipoh to Taiping, my former hometown. I mean, my hometown really was where I was last time. No, I have been three different places last. So I thought one of my last hometown, if I may say that. There was one man traveling with me, sitting in the bus, about 1.5 hours journey, and he was just telling me his story. An Indian man is talking in Tamil about his family, his house, and all the challenges and all. And all I did was, Aaron, would you believe I was just like, I see. Then what happened? And I wasn't talking much. At the end, when he got down from the bus, he was getting up to get down. You know what he told me? You're a very good conversationalist, he said. I
Wow.
was, I was like, he was doing all the talking. He was telling around saying, you're a good conversation. I was like, okay, all right. I think it's a compliment. I didn't tell him that, but you see, that means to say he really liked me because I was a listener.
Right.
And I wasn't listening. You see, a lot of times we listen, not because we want to listen, we are waiting for the opportunity to say something. In this case, I wasn't. I
Mm-hmm.
was just listening, paying careful attention, trying to understand his feelings, where he's coming from, and he appreciated me for that.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel that this skill can help us in sales. It can help us in overcoming problems. What about
Mm-hmm.
you, Aaron? Do you have any an experience in where communication skills has helped you?
Oh yeah, definitely, of course. I used to actually do. I used to be in a sales job but it's not a sales job where it's online. It's a face-to-face type of sales job. So on a day-to-day basis, I would have to meet approximately 500 people on the streets
Hmm.
to try to sell them what I'm selling on that day. That is one of the examples that I have. But other than that, like right now, in terms of challenges with communication, right, it's more to like uh, dealing with different generations. So, like for instance, most of the time, mm, when dealing with the younger generation, right, it is a bit harder because they sometimes would lack certain social skills. So
Hmm.
it's not very easy for them to communicate what they mean, and they can come off as very harsh or very rude, some may say.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Right.
I have someone like that.
Hmm.
My youngest one. You call him the Gen Z, right?
The Gen Z, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Gen Z. Okay.
Well, I do have a quick story just to share an
Sure.
example about that. The thing is like normally, because I'm in the line of website development and digital marketing, so
Mm,
normally when we create a website for someone, uh, of course, no matter what you tell me, okay, you can tell me like I want it to be green color, I want it to have XYZ kind of thing, and
mm,
of course we will try to cater to that, but it will never be perfect on the first round. There's always going to be revisions, right? And that is
definitely.
quite pretty normal, right? But
Mm,
when working with Gen Zs, a lot of times they'll expect it to be perfect on the first try, and i've
mm,
i've experienced the feedback from the first variation, right, from the first version of the website. They'll say stuff like, hey, you guys hire your developer from India or Pakistan one. You
Hmm.
guys don't know how to do it yourself, is it? These kind of things, will make your hand want to like.
That again is another communication skill as well. Uh,
Correct.
two things causes problem. Number one is lack of communication, where we just assume things when it's not
That's
right. We
right.
don't speak it out in the open, or we are too late. We don't. You see, sometimes like communication is asking the right question at the right time to the right person in the right way for the right reasons, I guess. Asking
Mm-hmm.
questions, and sometimes questioning skills is a very big skill. How you question people. You ask the wrong questions, you
Right.
get wrong answers. Or you ask the right question the wrong way, it can also be a wrong answer as well. Like, I would say sometimes you ask a person a question and they might say no, but it can mean a yes. Let's say a young
Mm-hmm.
man and sees this pretty girl at a party, and let's say he has a fancy for her and says, hey Jennifer, would you like to go for a cup of coffee tomorrow? Maybe even she likes him, but women have to like have that. She said no,
The,
but
right.
but
She's trying
but inside
to
she
play hard to
see
get.
exactly. But she's like probably thinking, ask me again, donkey, ask me again, idiot. Come on, ask me again. So it's a joke that someone used to say lah, but it's a matter of how we
Right.
say things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what people say, but what they mean by what we say. And in the workplace is very important, because when there is no right communication, there's no understanding what happened. It's what we say. People tend to gossip.
Mm.
Have you seen people
Gossip.
gossiping? Gossip
Oh, so
can
many.
mean a lot of things, right? Uh, and one of the ways to keep things going without gossiping is when you have an open communication. So
Mm.
communication skills is not just about how we speak, but it's also the timing. Wrong communication can lead to a lot of problems. That's why it's like,
Right.
and we can also influence people by the right communication. We can influence people to do more, to give more, to be able to bring out their best. And do you
Mm-hmm.
know that the world has been shaped throughout the history of the world has been shaped by how people communicate, isn't it?
Mm. Right.
Wars have
That's
been
right.
fought because of communication, and all kinds of things has happened. In fact, I will use good example
Mm-hmm.
like Hitler is a good example, right? Because of his rhetoric, the way he could speak, he actually changed the whole history of the world. Because of course I don't speak
Right.
German, but when you watch the videos of him speaking, it's obvious that the guy was speaking in full of passion, and he's mastered the skill of communication.
Yeah, he
So
had the conviction.
yeah, conviction maybe for the wrong reasons, but still he did. If you want to put it that way. Let's hear from our viewers now. Anyone wants to share anything at all, or you want to ask any question about how or anything about communication? Maybe we
We do
have
have a
Andrew.
comment from Andrew Richard. Yeah, he did mention KISS, keep it short and simple.
Keep it short and simple. Yeah. So in communication, sometimes we have to kiss, not kiss in the. But the kiss is about communication as well, right? I think
That's right.
our big chief is trying to say that. Yeah. Um, but one thing I realize is that communication skills can give us a lot of confidence. Would you believe that? The higher
Hmm.
up you go in any organization, the top level management people like CEOs and all, usually they're very good communicators. They have to be lah,
That's
right?
right.
So can we learn
Do
to
you think
communicate? The
it's
key,
the sorry? Do you think that it's the confidence that comes first or the communication that comes first?
I think learning to communicate well will give you the confidence, because in my case, that's what happened. Because I told you, right, I was a shy person in my class. I used to have a disease called the Hugo disease. You know what's the Hugo disease, Aaron?
What is that?
That's when, yeah, it's called spell UGO. See, when the lecturer asks for a volunteer, I look at a boy or girl next to me and say, "You go learn."
Okay.
That's called the Hugo disease. But
Oh, hey, you go, you go, hey, you go.
yeah, you go now, and then pretend to be busy
Got it,
writing
got it.
something. And I read in a book, actually by Zig Ziglar again, in his book See Your Top, he said, if you want to become confident, you see, yeah, this is what he said: join the Toastmasters Club, learn to speak, learn to communicate well, build your ability to get along with people, and he said your confidence will grow. So I took that advice literally and went and joined the Toastmasters Club. In 12 years, I was there, back in Ipoh. And
Mm,
during that time, I could really see, uh, my confidence really growing. Yep. So Andrew, thanks for the question.
I see.
Absolutely, he's asking, are there different stages of communication? Of course, there is the basic, simple level of communication, and um, like what we are doing right now. We're just communicating. We're just chatting. We're talking, and but then there are also different levels. When you are a salesperson, you have to convince people, and convince people. I don't use the convince lah. I rather use persuade people. There are three things we must do. We must make them know us, like us, and trust us. That is one. Then there is another level where you call the negotiation, where it's a skill. It's an acquired skill. Not everybody who can talk can negotiate, isn't it, Aaron? Don't you agree? Aaron, you can hear me, right? A lot of people can talk. A lot of people can say, "Yeah, I can talk, I can sell." But when you ask them to sit down at a negotiation table, that's a different story. So, Andrew, I hope I answered your question about the different stages and the different levels of communication. Oh, wait. You asked for different stages. Okay, different stages can be, of course, there are different stages. You are, when you meet somebody, the initial communication is different. As you get to know somebody, then there is then again more in-depth communication. What are the suitable books about communication? There are so many books, which there's so many. I would say one of the books that I have read is called Crucial Conversations. Crucial Conversations is a bestseller, which talks about the hard, difficult conversations people have. I mean, it's very easy for us to have a normal conversation like that, but crucial conversations refers to where there are a lot of things at stake. Emotions are high. Those kind of communications, what do you do? Where two people see things in different ways. A husband and wife could be one. Brothers could be one. Let's say there is a property issue. Who's going to fight to get more property? Another kind of thing. And those kind of things, there is stake. There are stakes. If I win, I get more. I lose, I get this kind of things. Maybe it's real. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's those are crucial because there is stakes and also emotions are involved. Even there are no emotions, that is very easy. But when emotions are involved, then it becomes so. The book Crucial Communications is pretty good on, and it gives you a lot of examples how to overcome some of these. Apart from that, many books I have read on leadership also talks about communication as well. Yes, exactly. Joseph Granny, yeah, true.
We also have another
Uh,
question from Lobhini, asking for a friend watching with me right now. How do you communicate in a situation of conflict?
okay, I like the question. Thank you very much for the question, Lubini. This is what I talked about just now about crucial communications or crucial conversations. Is see, first of all, in moments of conflict, the problem is two people they talk at the same time. Have you seen that? Both don't want to give in.
Yeah.
And the best way is, if you understand how to overcome conflict, is we keep quiet and we listen. I give an example. Let's say you have a customer who comes to you and is very upset about your service, your company's
Mm-hmm.
service. Maybe it's not your fault, but you know how customers talk, right? They think you are the
Yeah.
company just because you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they come and say, they threaten you. You buggers! I tell you, your service sucks. I hate this, and I'm going to sue you, and I'm going to put it on Facebook. And no, that is like. And when we face this kind of a problem, uh, it's very easy for us to become defensive. He said, "No, what? What do you mean?" And then sometimes the stupid thing that we all hear is, they tell us to smile when you see an angry customer. Or you say customer service is about smiling. I think that's not good advice, because when let's say, Aaron, you're very upset in my company, you come and shouting and screaming, I'm smiling at you. You'll probably feel like slapping me, right? So what the fuck are you
Yeah.
smiling at? I'm mad. So in these moments, you must empathize. The key is, can you empathize? And to also be realistic about what is involved, what is at stake. Then you just calmly listen, and then and we actually, sometimes when we listen, people begin to quieten down, people begin to calm down, and they may even come and apologize to you. Sorry, young man, I didn't mean to be rude to you, lah, but it's just that I'm upset with the way things are being done, lah. Wouldn't you be? And you say, yes, sir, I understand. If I'm in your position, I'll feel exactly the same way. I
That's
think
right.
it's not fair.
That's
What is
right.
he going to say? Because you're agreeing with him. And he said,
You want to be
this
on
company
their
is not
side.
that. Exactly. But the trouble is, most people want to be right rather than calming a customer down. So this is what it is. But sometimes conflicts can be not just customer like. It could be two people who think win lose. They always don't think of win win.
Mm-hmm.
If I win, you lose, or you win, I lose. So
Why
in
is
this
that? Is
situation,
that an ego thing?
it could, yeah, it is possible an ego thing. It's also a misunderstanding. It comes from scarcity mentality. People think there is scarce of whatever is there, but people with the abundant mentality, they usually don't. They will say, okay, they tend to say, okay, I can give in a little bit. You see, another thing is, um, when you're in a group and there's a conflict, sometimes it's not just two people, a lot of people giving all kinds of views, and if I'm the boss, I just steamroll past everybody and say, you do it my way, and then people are upset with me. A good boss is someone, a good man, a leader. A boss sometimes is not the right term, right? They listen to every aspect. Nelson Mandela said this. He said his father, who was a tribal chief in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and people when asked Mandela, where did you learn to communicate well? He said, from my dad. He said his father was being a tribal chief. Sometimes he goes to different villages. Those tribal people, they
Right.
come, and they will come with problems. I mean, if you
Mm-hmm.
have a village, surely got problems, and leaders, you'll face problems. And he will sit down there, and he will be the last person to talk.
Mm.
Nelson Mandela said, he said, my father is always the last person to talk. He doesn't interrupt people. That
Right.
means that even if you feel, Aaron, that what that person's saying doesn't make sense, you don't say, hey, hello, hello, hey, come on, lah. You don't just keep quiet. So he gets input from everybody, and then when he speaks, can you imagine the power there is? He has considered every opinion. Like it's like a pool. Like you
Right.
put everything in, and then you say, okay, this makes sense, that doesn't make sense. Okay, how do I give the best solution? So that is one way
Mm-hmm.
of communicating, which is, I think, is a very high level, but is empathetic as well. How well you can analyze, and it also falls down, boils down to one thing. It's called intrapersonal intelligence.
Ah,
Can you reflect on yourself or not? Can you ask yourself, am I right? Am I wrong? Am I willing to accept mistakes?
mm-hmm.
Can I learn from it? If when someone tells me, am I willing to say that I may not be right all the time? Can we put our egos aside? A lot of things. I mean,
Right.
communication is a big, huge subject. So,
But unfortunately, I think
Lobby, before
we are
Lobby, I hope I
closing.
answered your question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, yeah. And we also have one more from Andrew Richards. He mentioned that we can, what's it called? We can turn conflicts into advantages.
Absolutely,
For
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. I know one big hotel chain where they managed to do this. But then you see, uh, sometimes you must be empowered in a working situation. Boils down to whether we are empowered to do certain things now. There was this man who was in it seems Ritz Carlton, and he went
Right.
there to give his suit for dry cleaning, and he did not come back on time. He needed the suit badly to go for an important meeting. I'm sure anyone in that situation will get very upset with the hotel. And the
Mm-hmm.
man obviously was upset. He went up and he just screamed at the counter. And she said, look, I want my suit back. I don't care what. And that girl said, the girl, poor thing, she said, sorry, sir, I realize that the fault is not ours, it's our contractor who did, they have a breakdown of the vehicle or something like that. So some excuse. He's going to accept it, right? He said, no, I don't care. What? I want my suit back. I've got an important meeting. I want to lose it and I'm going to sue you guys. I mean, maybe he said that. So
Mm-hmm.
the lady at the counter said, hold on, sir. I can understand how you feel. I know can be very stressful. Let me see what I can do. So she thought a voucher for $200 US dollars and passed it to him and said, right across the road, there's a suiting shop, sir. You can just go there and pick up any suit you like. If in case this is not sufficient, the $200, you ask them to bill Ritz Carlton. And she was very calm. And he took the voucher. He went to picked up a suit he liked, checked out of the hotel, and he went off. He went to his meeting and went back to his hometown. A week later, he got a parcel in a courier, which was his old suit, with a letter of apology. He said, "Dear so and so, thank you for having stayed at the Ritz, and we really appreciate your patronage. And we're so sorry for what happened. Kindly accept our sincerest apologies. This never happened before, and we're very particular about such things. But sometimes things can go beyond our control. So we hope you like your new suit. That's on us. Keep it. And this is an old suit. Again, thank you very much, and sorry for the inconvenience." Now, I ask you, do you think that fellow is still going to be mad with Ritz Carlton?
Of course not.
Of course not. You see how, and as right Andrew said, a good communicator is a conflict. I mean, not getting a suit on time is a conflict. But I'm sure that fellow, I mean, if I heard it, that means that guy has told so many people and somehow the story leaked, right? And Ritz
Mm-hmm.
Carlton is not worse off. He's better off because that is positive publicity, right?
That's right.
I mean, what is $200 after all? Let's say they got another five new guests coming and staying. They make much more
They
than
make
that.
that in a minute.
Correct. So it's true. I think what Andrew said is absolutely true. It's
Hmm.
how we look at the situation and do we panic? Are we upset? Does the ego come
Of
into
course.
play? All those things are
Mm-hmm.
matters. I mean, this is what I feel. Yeah.
And just like how we should communicate better, I think it's time for us to communicate to our audience that unfortunately it is nearing the end of the show. But before that, we would have to thank you guys for tuning in. We are live every 8:30 to 9 o'clock, 8 p.m., 8:30 GMT plus 8. A little bit of a tongue twister there. But thank you again, everyone, for tuning in, and as well as you, Jeyaraman, for coming in to share your knowledge as well. I hope you had a good time, and I hope everyone will have a lovely day or night wherever you are in the big wide world. Thank you, everyone, and how. Bye bye.
Everybody. Thank you, Aaron, and thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.